I'm going to go through a few of the steps in Lab 2 that you seem to have a problem with. The first one you mentioned is item number 5 over here, click warehouse new connection. Well, right below that in red font is manage data warehouse new warehouse connection. So I'm going to minimize this and we're going to go manage data tab, warehouse. It'll take a moment for the drop down. And we're going to go new warehouse connection, left click. Take a moment. It is Access, Microsoft Access Database, and we're going to name it US Sample. Browse. You're going to point. It's always going to default to the C warehouses folder. You don't want to do that. You want to go to your folder where the data are. So I'm going to click on my machine, my C drive, and I have it under Lab 2. Yours is going to be your surname, Lab 2. And I'm selecting US Sample MDB. We're going to click Open and OK. All right, so we have a connection. Let's look at what we're supposed to do next. So I've clicked through this. We're going to create a new normal warehouse named Vacation States MDB. What we're basically going to do here is we're going to make a blank geodatabase warehouse, and then we're going to output some feature classes out of US Sample in there. So we haven't displayed anything. So this says manage data warehouse, new warehouse. So we're going to make a new warehouse, minimize this. We're still in manage data, left click warehouse, new warehouse. Okay, in the new version of GeoMedia, you'll notice there are two options: Access Template, Microsoft Database Template, and also GeoPackage Template. If you look in announcements, I have a warning that you should not select GeoPackage templates. So left click on that, Access Database, New, and once again, it's asking you now to name it and put it in a folder. It's going to ask for warehouses. You've got to go to your folder on the C drive. So I'm going to go back to Lab 2. Open that up, and I think it asks for you to name it Vacation States. That's all you have to do. Save. Now, if you look in Warehouse, and the first option is Warehouse Connections, left click, take just a minute. And by the way, remember, all your data are in the warehouse connections. You'll notice now Access US Samples, the first one we connected to, and Vacation States is the one that we made. It's an Access database. And here's the file path. Both of them are in my C drive, Lab 2. So I'm going to close that. Let's look at what the lab sheet asks us to do now. Remember that the video represents an older version of GeoMedia, so anytime you see red font below an entry, this is just telling you what an operation you're going to do, and this tells you exactly what to click. So 9, click Warehouse Output to Feature Classes. So what you really need to click in the new GeoMedia is Manage Data Output to Feature Classes, and let's see what we're going to look for in the states feature. So that's all we're going to do, states. So I'm going to go to Manage Data, and we're going to go all the way over to the right almost and Output to Feature Classes. You will notice that there's a plus sign on US Sample Connection. That means there are features in there, so you can expand that by left clicking. You'll notice there is no plus sign on vacation states, the warehouse you created, because there's no data tables in there. There are no features. And we are going to select states by left clicking to put a check in states. The other thing you need to check right away is the target connection. So where are these features going to output to? They're going to output to vacation states. There's a little checkbox here that says display target feature classes in map window. Up here on the drop down, you could actually output this feature class back into the Access US sample. What it would do would be make a copy of the states table and put an _1 there. We don't want to do that. So we're going to say OK. You get a little pop-up that says the output process will result in one feature class new mode. Do you want to continue? Left click yes. You'll notice down here we'll get a blue line. Output complete, OK, and now your states are displayed, 49 of them. Let's go back to the lab and see what the next step is. US sample, change the states, fill. These are things you can do that you learned in demo. 11, add double block scale bar default colors and position the scale bar, blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go in and add a scale bar. And how we do that, unfortunately, that's not listed here, is we go to the Toolbox tab and left click. I showed you this in Demo 1, and you should have done that. Legend, scale bar. Left click on scale bar, it'll be lit up. It's in kilometers and it's a single block. So we're going to double left click on that. Intervals and units. We do miles in the United States, so left click the drop down. Left click on miles. Now you'll notice it says miles. Style. Left click on that tab. It's a single block with center line. Left click. We want double block. Defaults to red. Click OK. And we're just going to left click and hold and move that over there. If we wanted to, we could like zoom out once. And let's go ahead and zoom back in, but I'm going to leave more space. You can see the dotted lines at the bottom of the United States. Then I can left click and put it in the center. Whoops. I'm going to go back one view for that by just zooming back out. And fix this. You'll notice how you can use, and I right click to escape out of there. So there's what I'm asking you to do in that part of the lab. I position the scale bar. Delete US sample warehouse connection. Okay, all we wanted out of the US sample, wanted to mine out of there and copy into vacation states, was the state feature class, which is really a table. So how do we delete that? We're going to go back to the Manage Data tab, left click, Warehouse, left click on Warehouse Connections. You notice here is Access US Sample. You see the little black arrow? Left click, and we're going to left click on the delete button. Yes, close. Now, if you did that and the states disappeared, you output the feature class table into US sample. So just for drill, I'm going to save this. So I'm going to go File, Save As. I'm going to go to Magellan again, which is my computer's name, C drive, go to Lab 2, and for you it would be your surname, which is, mine's Weinmiller, Lab 02, and save. So that's how you save it. I think that might help you, just this little bit of video coverage. So let's try this. I will send a link for this video to you and see if this helps you wade through that annotated lab. If that doesn't work, I'll come into the lab and meet you and we'll go through it further.